Ladies and gentlemen, it's me, your favorite candidate. If you got someone you don't like, especially if they're a threat to your beautiful political campaign, you can use the justice system to get rid of them. America has become such a phenomenal land of opportunity that you can now use the justice system meant to protect people, to destroy them instead. In 8 ruthless moves, I'm going to show you how to use the judicial system. I'm talking the courts, the legal system of America, to phenomenally destroy your political enemy. I know it doesn't sound nice, but not everything is nice. Get comfortable and listen closely, because what you're about to hear is the most brilliant, masterminded abuses of the Department of Justice you've ever witnessed. Move number 1, and let me tell you, it's a tremendous move. Indict your enemy with a boatload of allegations. The average American citizen has no idea what an allegation technically means, or an indictment. And this works to your advantage. Whoa, Trump got indicted? How many times? Did you see this one, 34 allegations, and this one, 38 allegations, and this one, 4 allegations. What about this one? 98 pages in this lawsuit alone, totaling to 41 allegations. You might be wondering, so what's the big deal? Fair enough. Let's take a little journey down history lane. In the 1970s, Ted Bundy raped, sexually mutilated, and murdered dozens of women, including raping and drowning a 12-year-old child in the bathtub of a motel room. Guess how many allegations he received when being indicted? 7. Yours truly? 117. The greatest president of all time received over 16 times more allegations than arguably the most wicked criminal of the last 50 years. If we're being honest, I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get it up to 200, but at this rate, we'll get there. Stuffing as many allegations as you can into your indictments will not only help mask any weakness in your arguments.
Well, yeah, you do, but look, Pat, look, here's the deal. Now, you think I thought you stand to vote for me? You're too old to vote for me.
This makes you look like a little bitch.
But it can fuel the outrage of NPCs across the country just by the sheer volume. This strategy is more than a mask. It's about sensation. You want your attack so big and so huge that 100 years from now, students will read about it in history books.
You want to do what is required.
Do you know any figure in American criminal history that was the subject of 4 simultaneous indictments in 4 different jurisdictions?
The sheer volume of these allegations alone will feed the narrative that your opponent is guilty. But there's something else in this strategy that's even more insidious. Most people think that if you get indicted, you're guilty. And that's because most people don't even know what an allegation or indictment is. Let's say your neighbor files a lawsuit against you for capturing, killing, cooking, and eating his pet cat. When he files his accusations against you with the court, those accusations are called allegations. So he hires a prosecuting attorney and files his allegations against you. If the grand jury decides that there is probable cause to prosecute you, they will send you formal notice. This formal notice is an indictment. Put simply, an allegation is the accusation, and an indictment is when the grand jury finds probable cause to prosecute you based on those allegations. They believe that you wronged someone. The brilliance of this strategy is that it grows by feeding itself off the ignorance of our society.
He got indicted? He must be guilty. I couldn't tell you what an indictment actually is.
I have no idea what that means.
But it sounds bad enough.
An indictment is not legal proof. It is not a conviction. It is not a sentence. A judge cannot punish you with only an indictment. Now, be warned that it may all fall apart if the grand jury decides that there is no probable cause to indict him. Solution? Bring these charges against your political opponent in jurisdictions, basically cities and counties, that are already overwhelmingly against your political enemy's views. Not just the jurisdictions, but also the prosecuting attorneys themselves. Make sure they hate everything your political enemy stands for. Because remember, you are not after justice or truth. You are after a person who threatens your political agenda and financial investments. Whether or not the indictments turn into convictions, this process can take years, but that's perfect. Your job is to tie up your political opponent, drain him of his funds, and use up his time so he can't focus on his campaign. For example, book the trial date. One day before one of the most critical days of the presidential campaign, Super Tuesday. This chips away at your political enemy's chances of winning an election, since he'll be busy preparing for trial and using up his funds while others are out candidating. In fact, the only time you need to worry about the Department of Justice taking you out is when you go against the establishment. It's almost magical. But become a threat to their narrative, and suddenly the full force of the law applies to you. But that's only the beginning. Move number 2, folks. This is where it gets really good. Turn everyday actions of your enemy into hideous crimes. Prepare yourself. This is almost unbelievable, but it's so simple.
It's simple.
It actually works. Accuse your enemy of the hideous crime of telling people to watch TV.
On or about the 3rd day of December 2020, Donald John Trump caused to be tweeted from the Twitter account at Real Donald Trump. Georgia hearings now on at OANN. Amazing. This was an overt act in furtherance of the conspiracy.
Or for the hideous crime of asking for a phone number.
On or about the 21st day of November 2020, Mark Randall Meadows sent text message to United States Representative Scott Perry from Pennsylvania and stated, "Can you send me the number for the Speaker and the leader of PA Legislature? Otis wants to chat with them."
Asking for a phone number is now a crime, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. But here's my number. So call me maybe.
But there's more.
But there is one more thing.
You can accuse your political opponent for asking them to call their lawmakers.
Rudolph William Louis Giuliani caused to be tweeted, "Call your state senate and house reps and ask them to sign the petition for a special session. We must have free and fair elections in Georgia, and this is our only path to ensuring every legal vote is counted."
They dare to ensure every legal vote is counted? It might seem silly, but if you are the establishment, transparency is not your friend. Now, in case someone realizes that grassroots campaigning is rooted in our nation's foundation of free speech, divert their attention by emphasizing a more damning charge: reserving a room.
The email stated which elector nominees had confirmed they would attend the meeting and that David James Schaefer had reserved room 216 for the meeting.
Not only does this add to the dogpile of counts against your opponent so you can intimidate your opposition with the sheer size of the indictment, but it can strike fear into the hearts of anyone who opposes your political standpoint, making them second-guess themselves for even doing the most simple of acts, such as sending a tweet or booking a meeting. Fear is a powerful ally, and this will increase your control over the free citizens of the United States of America. The strategy here is tremendous, really. Criminalize even honorable deeds. Move number 3, you bring charges against him like he's a mob boss, okay? Making him out to be a petty criminal won't do the job here. You need to make him look so evil, people would watch a movie about him. We're talking the likes of crime lords like Al Capone, Albert Anastasia, Lucky Luciano, and Carlo Gambino. People that got locked up for things like prostitution, bootlegging, narcotics trafficking, robbery, and murder. Now, trying to get the criminal son of a bitch locked up for asking for a phone number might not pull it off. So you need to use a stronger word that sounds more crime lord worthy, like racketeering. The kind of thing a criminal does when he promises protection to a business, as long as they pay the fee so they don't wake up with their horse's head in their bed. You might think this is enough, but you would be wrong. Phenomenally wrong. We're bringing this to a whole other level. Move number 4. Take a single statement, yank it out of context, and blow it up into something huge. So you have a big problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
If your political enemy knows that he lost the election fair and square, then your enemy questioning the results of the election and asking for recounts is clearly an effort to overturn the election.
The Trump campaign is filing a petition for recounts in 2 Wisconsin counties.
It's all a big game to try to steal the election. But if your political enemy sincerely believes that he won the election, frankly, we did win this election. You're going to have trouble convincing a jury that he tried to overturn an election because he asked that voting procedures be investigated. And here's where it gets worse for you. On January 2nd, 2020, during a phone call with Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, your enemy made multiple statements that clearly indicate he believes the 2020 election was stolen from him.
The bottom line is when you add it all up, and then you start adding, 300,000 fake ballots. We won Georgia easily. We won it by hundreds of thousands of votes.
To avoid ending up a big loser in this battle, you have to find a single statement he made, rip it mercilessly out of context, and blow it out of proportion. Well, lucky you. Listen to what else he said on that phone call.
So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break. We have that in spades already.
That's your ticket!
Been talking about found inside the White House this week.
Play that statement all by itself, and you can manipulate NPCs, I mean a jury, that his nefarious intention from day one was to overturn the election, regardless of the facts, and destroy our great country. It's like magic, folks. Now, you don't want your enemies focusing on the $419 million spent by Mark Zuckerberg to influence elections toward his preferred candidate, do you? And that's why you need to move to number 5. These first 4 moves were pussies compared to what you need to do next. But if you want me to keep going, you better subscribe now. Move number 5, oh boy. Use a bookkeeping technicality to smear your political opponent's character. Now this one is going to be a bit tricky. But first, here's what happened. A porn star wanted to tell the world that she slept with your enemy.
Imagine the worst sexual experience you've ever had in your life, and that's the one on TV.
She's past her prime. She still likes attention. Perfect opportunity. But your enemy is in the middle of campaigning to be president of the United States. So he has his lawyer wire her a fat sum of $130,000 in return for her signing an NDA, promising silence on the alleged affair.
130,000 USD shall be wired into PP's... PP? Who on earth is PP?
I knew you were dumb, but not that dumb. Scroll up. Scroll up.
Peggy Peterson.
It's a beautiful pseudonym, okay? Anyways, we have a problem. You got nothing on him because there is nothing remotely illegal about asking someone to sign an NDA. Otherwise, almost every American corporation from sea to shining sea are lawbreakers. But you can still twist this into hurting him. Get your enemy on a technicality like the hush money payment being recorded as a legal expense when it was really for his campaign, then trump that up into 34 felony counts of falsifying business records.
On 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree.
I mean, sure, practically. Recording a single expense inaccurately is about as common a mistake as putting the toilet paper on backwards, and it has absolutely zero negative effect on anyone, and it's extremely unlikely that this would ever be ruled a felony, but that's not the point. You are tying him up, slowing him down, draining his funds, because as long as he sucks oxygen, he is an existential threat to your totalitarian cravings for a world where you control speech, finance, and your ideological narratives. But there's something else to this strategy you probably didn't notice. It helps distract the public from the fact that your political friend likes to sniff little children.
Everybody else is looking forward.
Can I go with Jess alone? Don't tell mommy what I told you.
And that he likes minors to rub the hair on his legs.
That turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
But if you think that's enough, you are wrong. No, folks, now it's time for the big league moves. And you may have to resort to unconventional, even unconstitutional methods to take down your political enemy. Move number 6. Accuse your political enemy of being a traitor and a spy. So, your political friend does something really bad. Really, really bad. And if he ends up behind bars, this could result in the utter failure of your strategy to weaponize the justice system against your enemy. June 7, 2023, the FBI released documents that your political ally used his position as then Vice President of the United States to take bribes from a foreign company, 10 million big ones, and his son's in on it too. A foreign company so corrupt, the only way it could avoid being sued was when crooked Joe Biden got the prosecuting attorney investigating the corrupt Ukrainian company fired.
Zlochevsky was somehow coerced into paying the Bidens to ensure Ukraine Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin was fired.
And the payment? $5 million to Hunter, $5 million to Crooked Joe. This looks bad. Really bad for your political friend. You're gonna need a serious distraction. So the very next day, distract the world by indicting your political nemesis for having classified documents at his Florida Beach property.
Special Counsel Jack Smith accusing the former president of illegally hoarding classified documents after leaving the White House.
But don't go after the actual law he unintentionally broke. Indict him for something slightly more serious, like the 1917 Espionage Act. Make him look like Benedict Arnold. Convince the world that his intention was to injure the United States of America. Oh, he definitely kept those documents to spy on our country. I mean, after all, he's the same man whom House representatives impeached in December of 2019 for so-called Russian collusion during the 2016 election. Even though the Senate of the United States found him not guilty,
the Senate adjudges that the respondent, Donald John Trump, President of the United States, is not guilty as charged in the first article of impeachment.
And even though his lack of wrongdoing was eventually admitted by news sources who had a long history of trying to smear him,
federal investigators did not have any actual evidence of collusion between Donald Trump's 2016 campaign and Russia.
Not to mention a 448-page report by Special Counsel for the Department of Justice, Robert S. Mueller, who never concluded that he did anything illegal. This strategy is supposed to work, but something went terribly wrong. The more you use the justice system against your political rival, the more people love him. I never thought it would come to this, but you're going to have to play a very dark card. I will warn you, this is going to be a very low blow. So low that some of your own friends may despise you for it, but this is where your commitment to a totalitarian government is truly tested. Move number 7, attack your enemy for the same thing your buddy did. Here's the situation. Your ally's kid gets charged with 2 years of tax evasion and the felony of illegally owning a weapon while doing drugs. We're talking crimes that earn up to a combined 12 years in prison, $200,000 in fines, and worse, destroying your political friend's credibility for life.
3 charges, 2 of which are failure to pay taxes, more than $1 million in taxes. Hunter Biden has agreed to plead guilty to those. A 3rd charge of the possession of a firearm inappropriately.
This one's not going to be easy, because you need to make it look like you're bringing the full force of the law against him without ever really doing it. You're going to give the appearance of justice. This is extremely risky to pull off, so listen closely. The special counsel appointed to investigate the son of your political ally needs to be someone more loyal to your ideologies than to justice. But this presents a major problem. The Code of Federal Regulations, basically the legal code that the Department of Justice is required to follow under Title 28, states,
the special counsel shall be selected from outside the United States government.
Why? To avoid favoritism. An employee of the United States investigating the son of someone who is an employee of the United States would create massive temptation to go easy on the guy he's investigating, since his dad could have a direct impact on his employment.
Oh, right, you're on fire. I need you. Come here.
But guess what? The special counsel the Attorney General wants to appoint, the one who will be loyal to his cause, he already works for the United States government. But it's only federal law, and since the Attorney General works for the federal government, no one will hold him accountable if he breaks it. So do it.
I'm here today to announce the appointment of David Weiss as a special counsel.
In fact, do you want to see how far you really can go? Make sure the prosecuting attorney is appointed by the Attorney General who works for the defendant's dad. Tremendously objective and impartial. And take your time. at least 5 years to even bring this before a judge. You don't want to throw shade on his dad while he's busy inflating our economy and letting in 6.3 million illegal aliens into our borders. Who said Biden can't draw large crowds? And once you do bring it before a judge, make sure the deal you try to cut is extremely favorable to the son of your political buddy. So favorable that it provides him with blanket immunity from future prosecutions. Now, this all would have been great if the plea deal had not been so phenomenally absurd that the judge rejected the deal completely. Now you look like a real idiot. You won't survive this if you do nothing. So 24 hours later, distract the world from this faux pas by piling on more indictments against your political enemy for the same actions that your political ally committed but was never indicted for, keeping classified documents. Hypocrisy? Sure, but it's politics, folks. And don't worry about your political ally committing the exact same crime, since keeping classified documents in his garage was a very secure location. To really bring it home, have your political ally pretend to be shocked that your enemy could possibly do such a thing.
How that could possibly happen, how anyone could be that irresponsible.
You think this is enough to bring him down, but no, to bring your political enemy to his knees, there is one more move you're gonna have to make. Then you got him. Move number 8. If your political ally gets caught lying repeatedly, call your enemy an insurrectionist. The game is simple, but brilliant. Your friend gets accused of crime level 3, accuse him of crime level 30. July 31st, 2022, an interview reveals that your political buddy lied repeatedly about his illegal involvement with foreign business deals.
I've never spoken to my son about it overseas. He's a damn liar, man.
The president was never in business with his son.
Joe Biden would call in with clients present on a speakerphone. How many times do you think that happened?
I mean, over a 10-year partnership, I would, the number I'm going with is 20.
I've heard Joe Biden say that he's never discussed business with Hunter. That is false.
24 hours later, distract the world by indicting your enemy again. But this time, call him an insurrectionist. Get him for saying this.
And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Never mind that he used the same kind of terminology at a rally 2.5 years earlier.
We got to go out and we got to fight like hell and we got to win the House and we got to win the Senate.
Never mind that he said,
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
Or that he made a video saying that we must have law and order and telling everyone to go home, or that he tweeted this, because deep in your heart, you know what he really meant was this.
Open them over to the individual at the top.
And of course, your political friends would never even consider using the same kind of rhetoric.
Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
And that I thought he should have punched him in the face.
I feel like punching him.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
And if all else fails, and the evidence of fraud against your ally becomes overwhelmingly undeniable, exposing your friend for using his political position as Vice President of the United States of America to make millions.
Bank records show the Biden family, their business associates, and their companies received over $10 million from foreign nationals.
And your buddy's bank records are exposed.
As explained in the first bank records memorandum, Robinson Walker LLC was a vehicle used to receive foreign funds and send a percentage of the money to Biden family members.
Then you might need someone as badass as Don Self, agent of the Department of Homeland Security from Prison Break, to come after your enemy.
78 indictments. One indictment for every single year that you've been on this earth.
Oh wait, he screwed everyone over. So just bury all that damning truth with one final attack by something far more intellectual. Make fun of your political enemy's mugshot. Unless it looks like this.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G.
Snoop Dogg.
You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E. Yeah, yeah, yeah.